Hi, today this video is going to be more freestyle-ish, where I'm going to be building an annual forecast or a budget for how much I spend in Canada, Toronto. This is something that I've always been meaning to build so that I could get a better sense of how much I'm spending per year and per month. But I've also received a lot of requests to show the keyboard shortcuts and kind of provide a keyboard overlay when I create these videos so that people can see what kind of shortcuts that I use. You will see that keyboard overlay on the bottom right of the screen, and hopefully this video will be kind of the best of both worlds, where you will see building of a financial model and also a keyboard overlay for you to reference. While I go through this video, I'm also going to try to comment on the keyboard shortcuts that I use and how they could be useful. So in terms of building my annual model, I want to first start with just creating a summary tab. And I want to create some additional tabs for me to use in the future. So I'm just going to rename this tab Summary and then press Alt-H-O-M to move this tab to the beginning of the page. Whenever I create tabs, I always press Shift 11, which then creates a new tab to the left of the current tab, as you see here. So in Source Data tab, this is where I'm going to be updating all the inputs to my forecast model. But let's actually build out the forecast model first. And we can just copy this formatting over here. So for the forecast model, I want to just create January. I'm just gonna put a sample date here first. And December 31st, 2024. I actually don't want this to be in a date format. I just wanted to capture the specific month, because this is not a 2024 budget or a 2024 forecast. It's just a simple 1 year period forecast. Let's just call this model a forecast for now. And the way I'm going to convert these into simply months is use a text function, convert this to a text of the month. I want all the width to be the same size as well. 10. Maybe what we can do is, instead of the full month name, we'll just get the 3-letter abbreviation. There we go. And then I'm going to start breaking out my forecast over here. So now let's start working on the source data. For the source data, I want to update all my different inputs. So I want to create a description. Category. Category is how I'm going to distinguish between the different types of items. Frequency would also be one of them. The amount. What else would we need here? Let's actually specify a period if we need to. So we'll start with these columns first. And then if we have to expand on these later, we have the flexibility to do so. I'm just going to call this source data input. And the very first thing that I'm going to do is identify my core fixed spendings. So these are spendings that I know that I'll have to incur every month, no matter what happens. And the very first thing is going to be car insurance. We'll label this as required. Frequency is monthly. Period is going to be, if period, let's actually just leave this blank. We're going to choose this color for our fill, and then actually I don't like that. That's way too dark. And then for the amount, I'm going to specify 97 CAD or $97. And we're going to convert this into a table. I love operating in tables. It makes everything so much easier. And we're going to rename this table source data input. How do I add a table to the right? T, yeah. I'm also going to create a column called reimbursement status to assess whether I get this fee reimbursed by the company. I have mobile plan, required monthly, it's around $50.85. Reimbursement status is reimbursed. And while we're here, let's actually change this to a number with 2 decimal places. And while we're here, I think we should actually create a new column called monthly amount. So this would be the monthly equivalent. And we're going to formulate this after. So this is how much I spend on an annual basis. And let's just first convert this to monthly amount. What I'm going to do here is then start setting up that index that I told you about that I'm going to combine over here. So we'll first label this period index. Whoops. Frequency, and then multiple. I just want to first remove the duplicates here. And then for multiple, monthly is 1, bi-monthly, since it's I want this to be on a cash flow basis actually. So I'm actually going to just deem bi-monthly 1. Weekly is going to be 4. Annually is just going to be 1. Periodic is 1. Because this is cash flow basis, I don't want to accrue anything. And for monthly amount, we're just going to multiply this amount times X lookup, the frequency, based on the multiple. And while I'm here, I am actually going to also label down CPA license. I wonder if I should, nah, I don't want to put that under license. I just put it ad hoc annually. Do I have any other annual? I do, dental care annually. This comes out to be around 900. Luckily, this one's reimbursed, so I'm just going to keep that there. So we have monthly amount now, and I'm now going to forecast this within the forecast tab. So the structure that I want to go for is that we'll have required. So let's specify required right below. And then we're going to filter the description where the category equals the category that we've specified in B5, like this. That doesn't look good, does it? I think that's fine. So we have monthly, bi-monthly, weekly, annually, and periodically. I'm also going to create a period index here. Highlight the screen. Let's just copy the format here. And then we're just going to add one to create all the period index. And you'll see where I use this period index later on in the video. However, for now, let's just look up the description and return the frequency. So we can see that this one is monthly. So we're actually going to create multiple or rather to make our lives easier, we're going to also create period. And we're going to XLOOKUP the frequency over here. And this period is going to drive how they kind of get captured within this forecast model that we have here. I wonder if it would also make it easier to bring in the amount directly here as well. So this column is obviously going to be grouped, meaning it's going to be hidden. But I'm just trying to reduce the complexity of the formulas that I'm going to use right now. If E5 equals monthly, because we know that this monthly amount is going to be incurred every month, we can just return the amount presented here. The bi-monthly is a bit trickier because this gets incurred once every 2 months. And because we're building this forecast on a cash flow basis, we don't want to just divide the 50 by 2 and then accrue it every month. Instead, what we're going to do is, let's put a comma there first. If E6 equals bi-monthly, then I want to test if is even of the period number. Then I want to return F6, otherwise a blank. And then when I copy this over, you'll notice that the haircut gets applied once every 2 months. Let's convert this into an accounting format like this. And then as I add more items below, I'll continue to expand on this formula. Let's copy this over and then change this to license. We can copy this formula over as well. And we can see that they're all monthly, so I don't have to change anything in my formula. And let's just keep doing what we have been doing. Next is groceries. I guess it would just make more sense to link it like that. Now weekly, because we've already converted to a monthly amount, we know that weeklies are also going to be incurred every month. So we can just add within this formula. Let's actually zoom in here a little bit. Within this formula, we can add E7 equals weekly, just return F7. And it will still yield us the same result. Let's zoom out here once so that you guys could see this better. And I realized I forgot to add the total. And then total license. And then add a space in between. Next, we want to, let's move this further down. Copy this over here. Entertainment. Again, these are completely fine. We already have these built into the model. And this is kind of where it gets a bit tricky, right? We have to now process ad hoc items. And annually is where it gets a bit more complicated. And this is where I have specified the period section. So CPA license, I'm actually going to update this to January, or let's say March, because they give us some time to pay it off. Actually, let's change this to February. So for all the annual and periodic, you'll notice that I actually specified a period where I want to incur it. So within this formula, I'm also going to change it where if E33 equals annually, then we want to if XLOOKUP D33 equals a period that we're analyzing, then we want to return F33. Otherwise, empty. I don't know if this worked properly. Right now, this formula is not going to work because I spelled the entire name of the month, whereas I need to only use the 3-letter abbreviation. So this is currently working. And then periodic, I have to do the same thing. So I'm actually just going to copy this entire formula and then copy it down here below and then change from annually to periodic. And we have our ad hoc spendings broken down by specific periods that we expect to incur them in. So we'll have total ad hoc, the total here. And we can just copy this over to all the different sections to copy over the formula everywhere else. And now we have a forecast of all my annual spendings. So let's just quickly label this as total spendings. And I'm going to take a shortcut here and then sum ifs this entire section where column C is not empty. And the reason why it's not working is because my ranges are different. So I'm just going to change this to row 5, and it is currently working pretty well. This is just one of the ways that you could build a financial model, and I also hope that you were able to gain insight to some of the shortcut keys that I use to efficiently navigate around Excel. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know, and I'm going to be uploading more educational videos, so follow for more.